What's happening everyone, Keats Trans Experiences here, and welcome to another video. Now, I wasn't planning on making a video today, I was planning on making it earlier, but I was busy. But this is gonna be some big news because next year I'll be having a roller coaster road trip, seeing parks through the country. Now, this was in the plans ever since I graduated, just because this was a post high school graduation present, which was supposed to happen in the summer, like towards the end. But due to travel restrictions, I had to push back the plans, and also the fact that not having parks open every day would be a disaster. So we figured it was a good idea to push those plans back to 2021. I'm planning on starting my trip on January 8th, I believe. But if there's an obligation like the curfew due to the violence, we gotta be following the law, so that would mean we had to push those plans back again. So I'll be going over the parks I'll be visiting in 2021. So first, I'll be visiting Castle Amusement Park on January 8th in Riverside, California, where I'll be riding the Vekoma family coaster Merlin's Revenge. And they have other rides like Fireball, their Larson Super Loop. I've not ridden any Larson Super Loops yet. And they have the Flying Saucer UFO style spinning ride, which is just enclosed, so you can't see anything, but you can feel the force on that exhilarating ride. Then on January 9th, after stopping in our destination the night before, we'll be visiting Wildlife World in Litchfield Park, Arizona, where they have the Chance Ride Big Dipper Family Coaster. Then, on January 10th, I'll be visiting SeaWorld San Antonio, where they have the B&M Invert Gray White, their Batman clone, their Morgan roller coaster, Steel Eel, Waybreaker the Rescue Coaster, which is their Intamin launch coaster, and Texas Stingray the GCI wooden coaster, which is their newest coaster. Then on January 11th, I'll be visiting Sandspun City, where I'll be riding the Emerald Coaster, which is their Pinfari Cyclone roller coaster. Then on January 12th, I will be visiting Busch Gardens, Tampa, where I'll be riding the B&M Sit Down Kumba, the B&M Invert Montu, the Intamin Blitz, Cheetah Hunt, the Mock Ride Spinning Coaster Cobra's Curse, the Schwarzkopf Looper Scorpion, the B&M Dive Coaster Shikra, and the Premier Skyrocket 2 Coaster Tigress. Now, I will not be going when Iron Bronze is open because it's pretty much too late because the plans aren't set, so pretty much there's no going back. Then, on January 13th, I'll be visiting Fun Spot USA in Kissimmee, where I'll be riding rides like Mind Blower, which is their Gravity Group wooden coaster, and Hurricane, which is the E&F Myler roller coaster. There's the World's Tallest Sky Coaster, but I'll not be riding that because I have another Sky Coaster ride planned. I'll be getting to that later. Then, on January 14th, I'll be visiting Walt Disney World, where I'll be going into the Magic Kingdom. We'll be riding Space Mountain, their dual track roller coaster, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, their Vekoma Mine Train coaster, which is their Rocking Cars coaster. Then, on January 15th, I'll be going to Epcot, which sadly, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will not be open until 2022, just like Tron at Magic Kingdom. But there will be rides like Soarin' and Journey into Imagination with Figment. Then on January 16th, I'll be visiting Walt Disney World, Disney's Hollywood Studios, where there's Rock and Roller Coaster, their clone of Express 13, Platform 13 in Wallaby Holland, the Vekoma LSM Launch Coaster, and Slinky Dog Dash, their Mock Rides Launch Coaster. Then on January 17th, I'll be visiting Disney's Animal Kingdom, where they have their Vekoma roller coaster, Expedition Everest, their Switchback roller coaster. Then on January 18th, I will be visiting SeaWorld Orlando, where I'll be riding rides like Kraken, the B&M Floorless, Mako, the B&M Hyper, and Mantos, their B&M Flying Coaster. Then on January 19th, I'll be visiting Fun Spot America in Orlando, where they have Freedom Flyer, their Vekoma suspended coaster, and White Lightning, which is their GCI wooden coaster, and I'll be riding their Sky Coaster there. Then on January 20th, I'll be going to Universal Studios Florida, where they have their rides like Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts, their Intamin roller coaster, Hollywood Red Ride Rocket, their Mauer X car, which has the onboard music, and Revenge of the Mummy, their Premier Rides launch Switchback roller coaster. Then on January 21st, I will be visiting Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, which I'll be riding rides like Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which is their Intamin multi-launch and Switchback coaster, and then the Incredible Hulk, their B&M launch coaster, their sit-down coaster. And Velocity Coaster will not be open when I go. It's gonna be opening in the summer of 2021, but that's not a big deal. It'll just give me a reason to want to go back. Then on January 22nd, I will be visiting Track Family Fun Park to ride the spinning coaster and the go-karts. Then on January 23rd, I will be going to Six Flags Fiesta Texas. We'll be riding Batman the Ride, the SNS Free Spin, iRattler, their RMC Hybrid, which looks like a phenomenal ride, Poltergeist, their Premier Rides Spaghetti Bowl Launch Coaster, Superman Krypton Coaster, the B&M Floorless Coaster, and Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, which is their RMC Rapper single rail coaster. Then, on January 24th, which is before I'll be visiting my grandparents for a night, I'll be going to Castles and Coasters where I'll be riding their Hopkins Coaster Desert Storm. And I'll be back like January 25th before the fun continues on like January 31st. We'll be going to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. I'll already be there. And it turns out their spinning coaster will be opening at least late 2021. So that's why I'm choosing to go in January. Besides, open year round. So there's the SNS Free Spin Coaster, Batman the Ride. Rides like Joker, the RMC Hybrid, Kong, their Vekoma SLC, Medusa, their B&M Floorless, and Superman Ultimate Flight, which is their Premier Skyrocket 2. And then continuing on to like mid-April, I believe, I'll be going to SeaWorld San Diego, and hopefully Emperor will be open. And there's rides like Electric Eel, their Premier Skyrocket 2, Manta, their Mock Ride's launch coaster, and the one which will really raise some eyebrows, Tidal Twister, their Skyline Horizon roller coaster. And then the fun doesn't stop because June 15th is the last day of my spring semester. Well, we finished with our winter trip because after President's Day, my spring semester at SMC starts. So during the summer, I'll be going to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. We'll be riding Giant Dipper, their wooden coaster, and Undertow, their Mauer spinning coaster. Then at Enchanted Forest, I'm going to be looking forward to Ice Mountain Bobsled, their Ascot design coaster, which has the enclosed cars. Then in Wild Waves Demon Water Park, I'll be looking forward to Timberhawk, Rider Parade, their SNS wooden coaster, and Wild Thing, their Aero Loop Screw coaster. Then at Oaks Amusement Park, I'll be looking forward to riding Adrenaline Peak, their Gerstlauer Eurofighter. Then at California's Great America, I'll be looking forward to riding the Demon, their Aero Looper, Flight Deck, the B&M Invert Gold Striker, their GCI coaster, Patriot, their B&M Flores coaster, which is formerly Vortex, the stand-up coaster. Then the big one, Railblazer, which is their RMC Raptor coaster. And going on to the big section, which would happen way later, I'll be going to Adventure Dome, where I'll be riding Canyon Blaster, which I've ridden last summer, like in 2019, and El Loco, which was sadly closed, and it's a good thing I'm going back. Now, when I went to Las Vegas last summer, that was when I also went on the Big Apple coaster. Then I'll be going to Snowbird in Sandy, Utah to ride their mountain coaster. After that, in Elitch Gardens, I'll be looking forward to riding Half Pipe, their Intimate Half Pipe, Sidewinder, their Aero Shuttle Loop, and Twister 2, the wooden coaster, just made by Hensel Phelps Construction. Then at Worlds of Fun, I'll be looking forward to riding Mamba, the Morgan Hyper Coaster, Patriot, their B&M Invert, Prowler, the GCI Wooden Coaster, and Timberwolf, their Din Corporation Wooden Coaster. Then at Valley Fair, I'll be looking forward to riding Corkscrew, their Aero Loop Screw, which kind of reminds me of the one at Cedar Point. I'll get to that one later. And I'll be riding Excalibur, their Aero Roller Coaster, their Aero Mine Train. I'll be riding High Roller, their Raw Horse Corporation Wooden Coaster. I'll be riding Renegade, which is their GCI Wooden Coaster. Steel Venom, their Intamin Impulse Coaster, and Wild Thing, the Morgan Hyper Coaster. Then at Nickelodeon Universe, I will sure be looking forward to Avatar Airbender, their Intamin Half Pipe. I'll be also riding Fairly Odd Coaster, their Gerstlauer Spinning Coaster, Pepsi Orange Streak, which is their Zero Tivoli coaster, and SpongeBob SquarePants Rock Bottom Plunge, which is the Gerstlauer Eurofighter. Then at Michigan's Adventure, I'll be riding Corkscrew, which is just like the classic Corkscrew model. I'm riding Shivering Timbers, there's CCI, which used to have its trick track. I'll be riding Thunderhawk, their SLC, and I'll be riding Zox Zoomer, their CCI family coaster. Oh yeah, there's a Woodstock Express coaster coming to Michigan's Adventure. Then at Indiana Beach, I'll be looking forward to riding Cornball Express, their CCI coaster with the buzz bars. There's also Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain, their weird CCI coaster, Steel Hog, their SNS El Loco model, and Tiger Coaster, their Schwarzkopf Jetstar, which I have not been on any of those. Then at Kentucky Kingdom, I'll be looking forward to riding Rides like Lightning Run, Storm Chaser, T3, and Thunder Run. Lightning Run is their Chance Rides Hyper GTX, which is the only one of its kind. Storm Runners, the RMC Hybrid Coaster. T3 is their SLC, which I heard that they could be getting the clone just to increase capacity. And Thunder Run is their Din Corporation wooden coaster. Then at Kings Island, I'll be looking forward to riding Backlot Stunt Coaster, their Premier Rides multi-launch coaster, Banshee, the B&M Invert Coaster, the Bat, the Aero Suspended Coaster, the Beast, which looks like a really fun wooden roller coaster, Diamondback, their B&M Hyper, Flight of Fear, their Premier Rides Spaghetti Bowl Coaster, Invertigo, their Vekoma Invertigo, Mystic Timbers, their GCI wooden coaster, and then the newest coaster will be Orion, the B&M Giga coaster. This will be my first Giga. Racer, their dueling PTC wooden coaster. Yep, that's pretty much it. We're gonna do it for Kings Island. Then the big one, Cedar Point. This will be a lot of coasters on my list. I'll be looking forward to riding Corkscrew, the Aero Loop Screw, Gatekeeper, the B&M Wing Coaster, which will, as a matter of fact, be my first. Gemini, their Aero Dueling Mine Train Coaster. Magnum XL 200, the Aero Hyper Coaster. Maverick, the Intamin Blitz Coaster. Millennium Force, the Intamin Giga Coaster. Raptor, their B&M Invert. Rougarou, their B&M Floorless Coaster, which was formerly a stand-up coaster. Mantis. Steel Vengeance, the RMC Hyper Hybrid Coaster, which that one looks phenomenal. Top Thrill Dragster, their Intamin Strata Coaster, which will now be my first. Valraven, the B&M Dive Coaster, and Wicked Twister, their Intamin Impulse Coaster. Then at Kennywood, I'll be looking forward to riding rides like Phantom's Revenge, the Aero Hyper Coaster, or the Morgan Hyper Coaster, the two manufacturer coaster. We're riding Racer, their Mobius Roller Coaster, Skyrocket, their original, the Premier Rides Skyrocket Coaster. And then I'll be riding Steel Curtain, their SNS Hyperlooper, and Thunderbolt, which is their terrain wooden coaster. Then at Hershey Park, I'll be looking forward to the newest coaster, their B&M Hyper Candemonium, the PTC Coaster Comet with the buzz bars, the Intamin Roller Coaster Fahrenheit, Lightning Racer, the Dueling GCI, Skyrush, the Intamin Hyper Wing Coaster, Super Duper Looper, their Schwarzkopf Looper, Storm Runner, the Intamin Accelerator Coaster, and the original GCI Wildcat. Then at Knoebels, I'll be looking forward to riding the only wooden bobsled coaster, Flying Turns. That one has 3 lift hills. Then I'll be riding their Zero Tower coaster, Impulse. And then I'll be looking forward to riding their PTC coaster Phoenix which has the bus bars, and Twister, which is their other wooden coaster. Then at Dorney Park, I'll be looking forward to riding Hydra the Revenge, which looks like a cool B&M Florida coaster with that inversion out the station. Steel Force, their Morgan Hyper, Talon, the B&M Invert, Thunderhawk, the PTC wooden coaster, and Woodstock's Express, the Zamperla family coaster. Then at Six Flags New England, I'll be looking forward to riding Batman the Dark Knight, Gotham City Gauntlet Escape from Arkham Asylum, the Joker, their SNS Free Spin, Pandemonium, the Gerstlauer Spinning Coaster, Riddler Revenge, the Vekoma SLC, which got the vast restraints, and Superman the Ride, which is their Intamin Hyper Coaster, Thunderbolt, which is their original wooden coaster, and then Wicked Cyclone, which is the RMC Hybrid, which despite being short, it has a lot of airtime. Then at Adventureland, pretty much I'll be looking forward to riding the Turbulence, which is their Mock Ride spinning coaster in Farmingdale, New York. Then, in Nickelodeon Universe Theme Park in East Rutherford, New Jersey, I'll be looking forward to riding Sandy's Blasting Bronco, their Intamin Swing Launch Coaster, Shredder, their Gerstlauer Spinning Coaster, Timmy's Halfpipe Havoc, their Intamin Halfpipe, and TMNT Shell Racer, which is the steepest roller coaster. Then at Playland's Castaway Cove, I'll be looking forward to riding Gale Force, which is their SNS swing coaster. I'll be riding Wild Waves, which is the ENF Miler family coaster, which goes around Gale Force. Then at Maurice Piers, I'll be looking forward to riding the Great Nor'easter, which that also got the vast restraints. I'll be riding Great White, their CCI wooden coaster. I'll be riding Rolly's coaster, which is their Galaxy coaster. Then I'll be going to King's Dominion to ride Avalanche, their Mock Rides Bobsled, Backlot Stunt Coaster, the Premier Rides Multi-Launch Coaster, Dominator, the B&M Flawless Coaster, Flight of Fear, which is an exact clone of Kings Island's Flight of Fear, Grizzly, the wooden coaster, I-305, the Intamin Giga Coaster, Racer 75, the PTC Racing Coaster, and Twisted Timbers, which is the RMC Hybrid. Then at Carowinds, I'll be looking forward to riding rides like Afterburn, the B&M Invert, Carolina Cyclone, the Aero Looping Coaster, Coppered Strike, the Mock Rides Multi-Launch Coaster, Fury 325, B&M Giga Coaster, Intimidator, the B&M Hyper Coaster, Nighthawk, their Vekoma Flying Dutchman, Vortex, which is their stand-up coaster. Then I'll be going to the Wilderness Run in Banner Elk, North Carolina. We'll be going to ride the Alpine Coaster, just called Wilderness Run Alpine Coaster. Then I'll be in Dollywood to ride rides like Blazing Fury, it's their Dark Ride Coaster, Fire Chaser Express, their Gerstlauer Launch Coaster, their Switchback Coaster, and hopefully I can ride Lightning Rod, the launched RMC wooden coaster. Also, we get to ride Mystery Mine, which is their Gerstlauer Eurofighter, Tennessee Tornado, their newer Arrow looping coaster, Thunderhead, their GCI coaster, and Wild Eagle, their B&M wing coaster. Then at Rowdy Bear Mountain Adventure Park, I'll be riding Rowdy Bear Coaster. Then at Silver Dollar City, I'll be looking forward to rides like Fire in the Hole, Outlaw Run, which is their RMC wooden coaster, their topper track, Powder Keg, their S&S launched and chain lift coaster, Thunderation, their terrain mine train coaster, Time Traveler, the Mock Rides Extreme Spinning Coaster, and Wildfire, the B&M sit down coaster. Then at Six Flags Over Texas, I will be looking forward to riding rides like Batman the Ride, their B&M Batman clone, Joker, the S&S Freespin coaster, Judge Roy's Scream, the wooden coaster, La Vibora, their Intamin bobsled, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, the Premier Rides Mr. Freeze coaster, launch coaster, New Texas Giant, the RMC coaster which started it all, Runaway Mountain, their only Premier Rides chain lift coaster which is still existing, Shockwave, the Schwarzkopf Looper, and Titan, the Giovanola Hyper coaster. And then last but not least is Western Playland, where I'll be riding rides like El Bandido, the Zyklon coaster, and Hurricane, the SDC Hurricane. So if you have any tips for this trip, just let me know. Have a nice day. Keith's Trying Experiences out.